The city of Naples on the southwest coast of Italy, 180 kilometres south of Rome, is the third largest in the country and generally enjoys a mild Mediterranean climate for the months of January and February. It's a city proud of its history, boasting fabulous architecture, both old and new. Hello and welcome to the Naples Half Marathon of 2022. It's Sunday the 27th of February and the weather is absolutely perfect for road racing over the fast 21.1 kilometres out and back circuit on the city's ancient streets. Registration takes place at the Mostra d'Oltremare exhibition complex where, after a 2-year break, the enthusiasm of the thousands of runners from elite to jogger with many club runners in between is palpable for a day of running in the sun. As always, the throngs of runners exude massive excitement as they head to the start in Viale Kennedy, scheduled for 9 a.m. And the air of optimism is well justified, because weather conditions like these can never be guaranteed. But 7 degrees centigrade and a very gentle breeze from the south is as good as it gets. The race organisers from the Run Check company, based in Prague, have pulled together a fabulous elite field, including Ilias Aini, the reigning Italian half-marathon champion. Top German marathon runner Robert Schoneborn is amongst the favourites in the women's contest. Badra Jaffrey of Italy ran 63 minutes in his half-marathon debut in Rome last November, and Yeman Crippa is the man star turn amongst the domestic field, a truly world-class racer on track, country and road. And Sofia Yaremchuk, formerly from Ukraine and now a proud Italian, is the Venice Marathon winner from last October. Well, away the elite field go. Slightly downhill on Viale Kennedy at the start of this race. They're heading in an easterly direction. And the throngs of runners enjoying this return to full mass running after the pandemic, with the pandemic beginning to recede in the Western world, loving every second of this glorious Sunday morning. The pace at the front, very quick indeed. The pack of top East Africans determined to try and get a time at the front end of the elite field for men of under 60 minutes. Further back, it's all about taking part and getting around the 21.1 kilometres. Well, the course follows Viale Kennedy and then goes through the Galleria Laziale tunnel, about 800 metres long, that tunnel, as the lead runners are pouring down the course. So the main pack, the masses, are still just easing through the start line. The pace very quick at the front end, around 2:49, 2:50 per kilometre. Important to settle into a good rhythm for these top elite athletes who have victory and prize money in mind. Further back, it's all about finishing, and their prize is the satisfaction of going well. Yeman Crippa just beginning to join that lead group. Julian Wunders of Switzerland, the European record holder for the half marathon, also looking here for a good build-up half marathon to his expected marathon debut, although he hasn't announced which marathon he's going to run in April as his debut at the full 42-kilometre distance. Well, the leading women, two athletes in particular to watch. Fitor Zeray Bezabe, a 68-minute half-marathon runner from Ethiopia. That was in Berlin last August. And Gladys Chepkurui, who was only run 73 minutes, but with a very fast 10 kilometres recently, a third place in Valencia in early January. She's expected to make a big improvement. Italy, a country that can boast millions of casual joggers, tens of thousands of club runners who are lucky enough to enjoy that fabulous southern European climate. Well, the course goes through the Laziale Gallery, the tunnel, and then they head down to the Piazza Sanazzaro, where they join the coast and follow the Via Francesco Caracciolo and past the famous Castel d'Ovo, dell'Ovo, and continue further east past the port, where they make the turn point, taking a left onto Via Alessandro Volta, and then they complete the start the journey back west, a little digression up into the old city, Piazza Municipale, and then again passing several famous squares in the old city before they return journey back along Via Francesco Cracchiolo, through the tunnel and towards the finish line, where they started, close to where they started, on Viale John Fitzgerald Kennedy, to give it its full title. It's a very fast course indeed, slight uphill towards the latter stages, but for the elite athletes, hugging the coast like that ensures flat, fast racing conditions. Here you see the elite athletes now exiting the tunnel. They're at about 2.5, 3 kilometers here. 8 minutes on the clock. Henry Rono holds the course record. That was set back in February 2020, 2 years ago, almost to the day. The Kenyan's record of 60.04 is the target, and it's so close to the 1 hour mark that, of course, the organisers would love to see athletes in Naples today go under 1 hour. Well, the light blue vest of Gladys Chepkurui is easy to spot there. She has her own pacemaker. Chepkurui, 27 years old now. Her personal best for the half marathon, only 73 minutes, but she's moving at a tempo much quicker than that. She was a third in the Kenyan National Junior 3000 back in 2012, but then almost nothing until 2018. So effectively a very late starter, Chepkurui. Well, from the cool of the tunnel out into the sunshine for the masses. The elite athletes now at around 5.5 kilometers, passing Castel dell'Ovo, looking very strong. The average pace is fast, 2:46 per kilometer at this stage. That will take them well below 60 minutes, which these days, with the new shoe technology that helps the athletes run faster, is the benchmark of absolute world class. 5 kilometers. The split time is 16:04. That's 3:13 per kilometer. The estimated winning time then 67:48. And the women's course record, well, it's a tough target. Viola Cheptu, 2 years ago, the Kenyan, running 66:47. There might need to be a slight acceleration here from Bezabe and Chepkurui to get down to that sort of time. Well, at 6.2 kilometers, the ancient cobbled streets of Naples don't provide any problems. There are good quality cobbles, if you know what I mean. Very flat, with the tens of thousands of vehicles that pour across these roads through the day. And there in the all-red strip is the great hope for the Italians, Yeman Crippa, the 25-year-old, making his debut at the full marathon distance. Now, significant point in the women's race. Only 18 minutes on the clock, but already Chepkurui has got a gap over Bezabe, who's a far more clearly established half marathon runner. She's running her 7th half marathon, Bezabe, but Chepkurui has a gap. The elite field have passed Castel d'Ovo, and now pour on the pace with 19 minutes on the clock. And the Yaremchuk, Sofia Yaremchuk, the former Ukrainian, the Venice Marathon winner in October last year in 2:29, also going well, has a small pack of men around her. Yaremchuk with a best of 70 minutes 33, would love to go below 70 minutes today. You could not ask for better conditions. You really couldn't. The Napoli City Half Marathon looking spectacular in the late February sunshine. Blue skies above these athletes. 20 minutes on the clock. They went through 5 kilometers in just outside 14 minutes, which is about 2:48 per kilometer. They really have shifted through the early kilometers, the elite men, beginning to settle down now to around 2:49, 2:50 per kilometer. Well, the chasing pack of men, Hidro, Abra and Aoni of Italy, who is a very strong runner. His best 62.57. He looks like he's heading for something much better than that. He did that when he was third in the Italian Championships last November. At 10 kilometers, the men, well, their time, 28:12. And there is that pack: Mutai, Kitillo, Abra, Kiprecic, Bellet, Kibichi, Kemai, a mass of Kenyans there. But Crippa is there, and so is the European record holder Wanders of Switzerland. Just going through halfway effectively, 29 minutes on the clock. And this the chasing pack with Le Guen of Switzerland, Abra, Awani, and Hidru also there. Well, Chepkarui has this pacemaker all the way through this race at 10 kilometers, 32:01 for Chepkarui. She's moving really well and heading surely for a sub 70-minute clocking. That is the benchmark of truly world-class half marathon running for the ladies, and that would suggest, as it looks like she's heading for 67.5 minutes, a massive personal best for the 27-year-old Kenyan. He's only run 2:38 for a marathon. That was back in Bucharest 3 years ago, or 2.5 years ago. 34 minutes on the clock for the elite men. There in the black vest and orange shoes is the fabulous racing machine from Switzerland, Julian Wanders. Holds the European record for 10,000 metres on the road too at 27:13. Has fabulous speed, does Wanders, great strength. He's alongside Crippa. As further back down the road, there's far more of a fun, relaxed element for the masses. But Chepkarui, long-legged, has this pacemaker chugging along beside her, and she's enjoying this. I said in my notes before the race, just looking at the statistics, with that fabulous 30:48 in Valencia on the 9th of January for 10K on the roads, that she's due for a big, big personal best. And that's the way it's panning out at the moment. Her lifetime best, only 73.5 minutes, while she's moving at a tempo which is 5 or 6 minutes quicker than that. The crowd on the far side of the road watching Chepkarui, and occasionally this is you get that lovely ripple of applause as the leaders go past the masses, albeit they're travelling in opposite directions. Well, before the race, at the expo, the athletes were talked to by various dignitaries. The hotel NH Panorama has the highest terrace in Naples, and it's the highest hotel in Italy, in fact. Of course, the expo has all the usual stalls, and various athletes being interviewed and chatting to the assembled throng of runners registering for the race, picking up their packs, and then the elite athletes introduced to the crowd. And various other dignitaries and race directors using the expo as an opportunity to gather, rub shoulders, share information as to how the sport of distance running will come out of the pandemic. And Mark Milder there, the race director of the Berlin Marathon, an interested attendant. Carlo Capalbo, the CEO of RunCheck, the organising company, also there. And Glenn Latimer of the USA, a very, very experienced man in the world of road racing, acting as a consultant for RunCheck, giving his views to the assembled throng. Mark Milder doing likewise. He's made the Berlin Marathon amongst the best in the world. It has the men's world record, of course. Back out on race day, though, and the racing continues at the front end with a very hard pace being maintained. 39 minutes on the clock, and there's still a good pack there. Still Wanders and Crippa at the back of that lead field at 2/3 distance. And Chepkarui having her day of days at the races. It is so much easier when you've got somebody beside you, just half a metre or so in front of you, leading you along and helping you through. Well, the lead men got to 10K in 28:12 and continue to push very hard for that sub 60-minute clocking. Approaching 15 kilometres, almost 40 minutes on the clock. Crippa and Wanders seem to be working together at the back of this field. There's Crippa, all in red. The top Africans pushing very hard at the front end. That's Kiprotich trying to break away. But this is such a high caliber field. Quite a few of these athletes have broken 60 minutes for the half marathon. Choge and Kibichi, both of Kenya, and Hidru of Eritrea, looking for a big improvement here. He's a 61-minute athlete. But as they pass through the various piazzas and along the long, flat stretches of roadways through Naples near the coast, so the tempo is being maintained incredibly well. The athletes enjoying this pace at the front end. And it is Bellet who continues to push hard. Joshua Bellet, who made his debut back in 2017. It was only 68 minutes. Well, now he is looking to go under 60 minutes today for the first time. Very, very different feel to proceedings back at Castel Duovo on the city seafront. A glorious shot of the Bay of Naples. Of course, the Isle of Capri within sight of Naples, and Vesuvius in the background there. Mount Vesuvius, of course, in 79 AD. Pompeii, just a few miles from Naples, was buried. It is one of the great sites. I was lucky enough to visit it a couple of years ago. Well, at 15 kilometers, the tempo at 2:51. The first 5K you can see was very fast for the elite men at 2:46 per kilometer, but they've settled down to around 2:51 per kilometer. Still quick enough to go under 60 minutes. Their average pace at 15K, 42.25, is about 2:49 per kilometer. And they are pushing incredibly hard. And on the seafront, on the return journey, Crippa looking more and more comfortable, tucked in behind the top Africans, Kiprotich and Bellet of Kenya. Kemai is there as well. And this quartet just beginning to ease away. Wanders has had to ease back on the throttle. Doesn't look like he's going to be in there for the win. Well, the club runners getting everything out of their race that they could have expected, loving every minute, the fun element almost palpable. The piazzas, the statues, the glorious architecture of Naples, all too evident for the mass runners. A slight climb further back down the course, very gentle climb on a cobbled surface. There is not a flat marathon in the world that doesn't have one or two little bumps. 15 kilometers for the women. And Chepkurui goes through there in 48.09. There's her splits. 3:13 per kilometer she averaged early on, then 3:11. She speeded up through to 10K, now settling down to around 3:13 per kilometer. That is amply fast enough to go a long way under 70 minutes. 49 minutes at the front of the race, about 10 minutes to go, and Crippa breaking away with Bellet there, trying to apply the pressure. Kemai too, almost acting like pacemakers for Crippa here. The little Italian all in red, who had a frustrating time back in 2021. Bezabe and Yaremchuk battling for second place in the women's race. The Ethiopian against the adopted Italian. Yaremchuk with that slightly awkward arm carriage, but she's very long and lean. Quite a different build to Bezabe. In the tunnel now, on the return journey. 51 minutes on the clock in the Galleria Laziale. It's about 750 meters long, and Crippa has attacked. The Italian has got his head down. He knows he's got just a couple of kilometers to go, and he's broken up the little group for about 10 or 15 minutes. These three were locked together. It was looking very comfortable, albeit at a quick pace, but Crippa has got his head down and really tested the Kenyans here. He's used the tunnel almost to hide his acceleration, but he does have that fabulous track speed, does Yeman Crippa. And look at the turnover rate of the legs of the 25-year-old here. He's never raced further than 10,000 metres before on the track or the road. The man from the Padua police team into the daylight now. And he does have a battle on his hands. Bellet, Joshua Kiplangat Bellet, the 24-year-old, is determined not to let Crippa get away with this. This is building into a wonderful clash between this pair. 55 minutes on the clock. Crippa has such a wonderful CV, a European under-20 cross-country champion back in 2014, 2015. He was disappointed with his 11th place at the Olympic Games last year over 10,000 metres. But he has the strength. He knows he has plenty of speed. He set a national record for 3,000 for Italy in 2020 and again in 2021. The injury problems that plagued him through 2021 have gone though, and Crippa, having gone through the age groups very steadily and progressed well with a lot of racing, is looking fantastic. He almost feels as though he's found his event with the half marathon here, because the tempo is quick. A grimace there from the Italian. He's working very hard indeed. Bellet clinging onto the coattails of Crippa and now moving up alongside him. This is a wonderful head-to-head. It's like two boxing heavyweights battling it out in the Italian sunshine. Crippa there glances across at Bellet, and almost as if to see just how stressed the Kenyan is. Well, Bellet surely heading for a personal best. 60.56 is his best from third in Padua in April, nearly 3 years ago. The chasing pair looking strong, Kipkemboy and Kiprotich, but they have had to give best. Once the attack went in from Crippa, the gap appeared. Slight uphill now with 57.5 minutes on the clock, and Bellet trying to break Crippa. In the final stages now, just a couple of minutes to run, and Bellet has a gap. That is significant. Up that slope, he has about 5 metres on Yeman Crippa, who was fourth in the European Championships, 5,000 metres in Berlin back in 2018. Crippa has that track speed to use. When it comes to the home straight, he may need it, because Bellet is testing him here every metre of the way. The Kenyan is applying the pressure, trying to break the will of the Italian Crippa. And Crippa moves up alongside Bellet. Maybe he realises that now this final long left-hand sweep and then the downslope means the finish is nearly within sight. 58 minutes 20 on the clock, and Crippa will not give in. This is a fabulous battle between the big pair, and surely sub 60 minutes is on the clock. Just a few hundred metres to run now, and Crippa turns the screw once more. Bellet hangs on, 1 metre down, will not let go, will not be beaten. Very rarely do you get a race of this quality between two athletes who have wintered well, who have good speed, have fabulous strength. But what a debut this is for Yeman Crippa. He matches stride for stride Bellet, who tries to get ahead, pushing so strongly in the finishing straight now. They're in Viale Kennedy, the finish line in sight. The crowds roar them on. Third and fourth places there. Kipkemboy and Kiprotich working hard to get back to the leading pair. But Crippa has the finish in sight. Grits his teeth, drives for the line. And surely this will be a new Italian record. The clock is well under 60 minutes. Crippa wins by 2 or 3 metres there from Joshua Kiplangat Bellet. Both of them way under the 60-minute barrier, as indeed are Kipkemboy and Kiprotich in third and fourth. Unofficially, the winning time, 59.26. It is a new Italian record for Yeman Crippa in that men's race. Well, further back down the course, still running incredibly well, but now on her own. Chepkarui leading the women's race. There's no doubt she's going to win it, but how far will she go under 70 minutes? Well, the answer for Chepkarui is fabulous. 68.09 she crosses the line there. It's a personal best for the Kenyan by over 5 minutes. What a performance. It was on the cards. We knew she was very strong after the brilliant 10,000 metres or 10 kilometres on the road in Valencia in January. Here comes Bezzabeh. She too, well under 70 minutes. Not near her personal best of 68.30 from Berlin last year, but still Bezzabeh 69.36 in second. And Sofia Yaremchuk of Italy, well, the former Ukrainian, 70.13 there as she crosses the line. Finishes waving the Ukraine flag, and a personal best for her by 20 seconds. Rabea Schoneborn, the German 10,000 metres champion, crosses the line in fourth place. Her time just outside 73 minutes. And in sixth, the Epland of Norway, Pernilla Eugenie Epland. Well, confirmation of the top 10 in that men's race. Crippa, Bellet, Yeman Crippa, all under 60 minutes. Crippa smashes the Italian record, one of the quickest times ever by a European athlete, ahead of that Kenyan trio. And delighted to receive his prize there, his Yeman Crippa and his medal. Huge cups for the first three on the rostrum. And the Italian national anthem now for Yeman Crippa, quite rightly so. Just a 1 second winning margin over Joshua Kiplangat Bellet. Bellet, incidentally, setting a personal best by 1 minute 23 seconds. Huge improvement for Bellet, and for Crippa, a spectacular debut. Well, the women's race won by Gladys Chepkurui, 68.09. Bezzabeh well under 70 minutes as well, and a great third place to make it onto the rostrum for Sofia Yaremchuk. But a big day and a huge improvement for Gladys Chepkurui to take that women's title. Just a little way outside the course record from Cheptu, set 2 years ago, 66.47. That stays safe. So Crippa, with his post-race interview, saying, just before entering the tunnel I understood I could win. I saw that there was a little gap between me and the chasers, and on the climb the gap was increasing also from my pacemaker, so I thought I can really do it because I felt very strong. However, outside the tunnel I lost a little bit of pace. Luckily the last 2 kilometers was a slight slope downhill, so gave it full gas, and it ended very well indeed for me. Carla Cabalbo says the next step is, of course, the European record. That's the target. I signed 13 world records in my time in the last 10 years, so why shouldn't we have one here in Napoli in a couple of years? It's very important that all the cultural elements, the logistics and safety infrastructure will improve to achieve the record. Well, it's been a fabulous day on the streets of Naples. The sun continues to shine down. This race will go from strength to strength in years to come. It's been a great pleasure being able to work on this race, and an Italian record, the cream of the crop in the performances from Yeman Crippa.